hello there, motherfuckers. It's a sad day for wrestling, as one of the greatest of all time has passed on. The Ultimate Warrior, and this was sad news. You know, I couldn't believe when I heard it. Such a great moment having Warrior there on Raw, such a great Raw, having Warrior come back, giving that speech, an epic speech to the audience, saying goodbye pretty much to his career. But we had no idea that he'd be saying goodbye to pretty much his life. His Ultimate Warrior died yesterday evening, just from a heart attack, just like that. I mean, how scary is that? Almost eerie that it was his goodbye speech, but we didn't know it was going to be goodbye for good. You know, we thought maybe we'd see a little bit more of him in the future for old school Raws and things like that. Maybe even one last hurrah in the ring. It was possible, you know, not likely. But, you know, now we'll never get to see it. And, you know, what more can you really say? This is just a sad, depressing moment. Just out of the blue like that. You know, he looked fine on Raw. He was full of passion, full of energy. You know, old school wrestling fans such as myself who've been watching wrestling since a child appreciated this great moment. They were happy to finally have the Warrior in the Hall of Fame. WWE and Vince McMahon got through all the childish bickering and rivalries and were able to come to terms on bringing Warrior back to where he belongs in the WWE, this historic promotion that has built so many great legends. And you know, I might talk shit about WWE, but I love it. And I love a lot of the wrestlers, especially a lot of the ones not just from the Attitude Era, but from the 80s. Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, and Ultimate Warrior. These were guys, you know, throughout my childhood that I loved. I owned an Ultimate Warrior mask, much like the one that Warrior put on his face on Raw. Now that, you know, that right there, that him putting on that mask reminded me of my childhood when I wore that mask. You know, and just the man was a legend. He was champion, you know, for a long time. He was a centerpiece of WWE for a very long time, even surpassing Hulk Hogan in popularity. So this is no small death. This is nothing like, you know, a mid-carder that, you know, wrestled for 2 years sometime in the mid-90s, you know, passing away. This was one of the biggest wrestlers, one of the biggest names of all time passing. And he was just there on Raw. I mean, how shocking is it? We just saw him. We were all super excited, and now we have to be depressed. You know, I mean, life is cruel, you know, and especially when you're passionate about something like wrestling. I mean, this was a good guy. This was just the guy in the wrestling business who didn't hurt anybody. He didn't hold anybody back. He wasn't, you know, an evil guy. You could see he was just a genuine guy who just wanted to have fun out there and make a career out of doing something he loved to do. And he had a lot of fun out there. I mean, I don't know if there was anybody as energetic as the Warrior. You know, you could say maybe he wasn't the best in-ring wrestler, but, you know, who could surpass the energy of the Warrior running down to the ring? His matches, though, may not have been technical masterpieces, but they were always fun to watch, and you always knew that the Warrior was doing the best he could to entertain you, and that's what he did on Raw. And I am very happy that at least, you know, unlike the Macho Man, which was very sad, at least we got to see, you know, the Ultimate Warrior one last time where he belongs in the middle of that ring, you know, talking on the mic, just letting us know, the fans, how he feels about us, you know, letting us know that he appreciates us. Because if he didn't appreciate us, yes, I know they paid him to return, but he was back. He didn't need to do it. He's got plenty of money, but he wanted to come back and just tell the fans how he felt. And you could see it in his face that he loved playing the Warrior character. You know, there's some guys like Batista where you could tell they're just there for the money and they don't give a shit. The Warrior, you could hear on Raw, you could see the gleam in his eye that he really respects the fans, and he appreciates them for, where he is, where he was, his status and his legacy. And, it was all the fans who got him to where he was, and he appreciated that. So Ultimate Warrior is one of the good guys in wrestling. He's one of the better guys, from my perspective at least. I don't know him personally. I really don't. But the thing is, I'm a big fan of Warrior. I let everybody know here in the YWC that I loved him being in the Hall of Fame. It was about time, how big of a fan I am. And this saddened me to hear this. Like I said, life is very cruel. Just a heart attack, and it just, it takes away somebody great right out of life. It's pretty sad, but, I read something great on Twitter. Some guy posted this, a friend on my Facebook posted that now Warrior crashed through the pearly gates and he body slammed St. Peter. Yeah, and I bet he's also going to go after Jesus while he's up there too, because, Jesus is a real jobber. He ain't doing much, We hear all this talk about resurrections and stuff. Warrior's just going to pick him up, press him a couple of times, drop him down, and give him the splash. Here you go, Jesus. You're a jobber. You're going to end up on Superstars. That's right. Warrior is in a better place. He's going to be looking down on all the wrestlers. Everybody, we love you, Warrior. We love what you did for wrestling, and there wouldn't be a WWE anymore. There wouldn't be any WWE without a man like the Warrior, who had the charisma, the energy, the look. He was pretty much the archetype of a wrestler. You looked at the Ultimate Warrior and you were like, that right there is a superstar. That's a wrestler right there. That's what a wrestler's supposed to look like. And and he turned out to be one of the biggest superstars of all time. What more could I say? Thank you, Warrior. Thank you for everything you contributed to the wrestling business. I love you. I love your matches. I love your character. And, from what I saw on Raw, you were a good person, a good, passionate individual that really, loved what you did. And you loved the people that helped you get to where you were. So a person like that, there's got to be a special place in heaven for a man like that. All right. Ultimate Warrior, rest in peace, my friend.